12 months from now, you could be waking up with nowhere to be, and that either sounds like paradise or the most terrifying thing you've ever heard. Either way, the clock is ticking, and what you do in this final year before retirement will matter more than almost anything you've done in the last decade of saving. Most people spend 30 years stuffing money into accounts, watching balances grow, and telling themselves, "I'll figure out the rest later." Well, congratulations, later is here. The scary part isn't running out of money. It's that most people have absolutely zero plan for what comes after the last paycheck clears. We need to talk about the shift that nobody warns you, about the pivot from saving mode to spending mode, because your brain has been wired for accumulation your entire working life, and now you're supposed to just flip a switch and start drawing it down. It's like training your whole life to fill a bathtub, and then someone hands you a drain plug and says, "Now enjoy your bath." Except the water is your life savings, and the bathtub is $45 a month in Medicare premiums. Let's start with healthcare, because this one will humble you faster than any market correction ever could. If you're leaving employer-sponsored insurance and you're not yet 65, you are entering a coverage gap that can cost thousands per month, and that is not a hypothetical. That is a bill that shows up at your door like an uninvited relative who also charges rent. Even if you hit 65 right on schedule, the Medicare transition alone requires decisions about Part A, Part B, Part D, and supplemental Medigap policies that read like a government exam you never studied for. The lesson here is simple. Start this process at least 6 months before your retirement date, because missing enrollment windows can result in permanent premium penalties that follow you for the rest of your life. Now, let's talk about the money side, because yes, you save diligently, but how you pull from those accounts is just as important as how much is in them. Think of your retirement portfolio like a multi-engine aircraft. You've got pre-tax accounts, post-tax accounts, and Roth accounts. And flying on just one engine when you have 3 is both inefficient and unnecessary. If you're retiring at or near 70, this is the golden moment for Social Security maximization. Waiting until 70 locks in the highest possible monthly benefit, which can be up to 32% more than claiming at 62. The strategy of coordinating that guaranteed income stream with your other withdrawals is what separates a stressful retirement from a sustainable one. And it is worth running the numbers with someone who actually knows what they're doing. Here's something nobody puts on the inspirational retirement card. You need to sit down and get brutally honest about what your actual monthly life costs. Separate your fixed expenses, like rent, utilities, insurance, and medications from your discretionary spending, like travel, golf, and the grandkids' college funds, because your portfolio needs to survive both market crashes and your annual trip to Italy. Stress testing your retirement strategy isn't pessimism. It's the financial equivalent of a flight simulator, where you crash the plane 100 times in software, so you never have to crash it in real life. Run the projections, use a retirement readiness calculator, or better yet, sit down with a fee-only fiduciary advisor who is legally obligated to act in your interests and not just sell you something with a hefty commission. Now, here's the part that gets oddly philosophical. What are you actually going to do with your time? Studies consistently show that the retirees who struggle most aren't the ones who ran out of money. They're the ones who ran out of purpose. And nobody budgets for that on a spreadsheet. Your professional identity, the title, the meetings, the people who needed you is going to quietly disappear. And if you haven't thought about what replaces it, the emotional hangover can be severe. Start now by identifying hobbies, volunteer work, community involvement, or even part-time passion projects that give your days structure and your life continued meaning. The irony of retirement is that you spent your career managing your finances and completely neglected to manage your lifestyle plan. And now, both demand equal attention at the exact same time. The good news is that 12 months is genuinely enough time to build all 3 plans: healthcare, finances, and lifestyle, if you start treating this transition with the same discipline you gave your career. History shows us that the retirees who thrive are not necessarily the ones with the biggest portfolios. They're the ones with the clearest systems, the most realistic expectations, and the emotional flexibility to adapt when life doesn't follow the spreadsheet. Process, patience, and position size in your drawdown strategy will always outlast conviction and perfect timing. So here's your final takeaway. Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a redesign. And the 1-year runway you have right now is a gift that most people squander by assuming it will all work itself out. Discipline, structure, and a genuine plan for your time and health will matter just as much as your account balance on day one. And if you're ready to take those next steps, whether that's real estate investing, home contracting projects, or connecting with the right lenders to put your money to work in retirement, check out our links in the description below.